morning to all children. Because we are starting the sixth chapter of your supplementary, it so happened. So, whatsoever part is left, fine. I will try to cover, but it is extensive reading. You should be able to understand some part. Uh, if some part is left, you will read the chapter yourself and solve the comprehension check because I will take it for the practice of reading passage also. Fine. So here it is. This chapter is about two boys. Fine. The fight itself shows that there is some kind of fight. If it is quarrel, there might be more than two persons. So fight between two boys. One is Ranji. He discovers a pool in the forest and plunges into it for a swim. There is a serious trouble between him and someone else over. Means we are going to read about Ranji and a person, other boy, who has a right to the pool, a fight ensues. Means proceeds. Means the who has a right to the pool means sometimes we feel and a concern. Something, some park is near, you say it is my park. You know? Near your house, some kind of park is there, we say it is our colony, it is our park, or like this. The first round ends in a draw. Ranji had been less than a month in Rajpur when he discovered the pool in the forest. It was height of summer and his school had not yet opened. And having as yet made no friends in this semi-hill station, he wandered about a day by himself into the hills and forests that stretched away interminably on all sides of the town. It was hot, very hot at that time of the year. Ranji walked about in his vest and shorts. Vest, you know, mark the word vest. The boys wear under their shirt, vest and shorts. His brown feet white with the chalky dust that flew up from the ground. The earth was parched, the grass brown, the trees listless, then hardly stirring, waiting for a cool wind or a freshening shower of rain. It was really hot and the surroundings were also not so appreciable. So it was on such a day, a hot, tired day, that Ranji found the pool in the forest. The water had a gentle transparency, and you could see the smooth round pebbles at the bottom of the pool. A small stream emerged from a cluster of rocks to feed the pool. As there was a stream also. Stream is a kind of water body which starts from some height and it is not very heavy. We can say it is not so heavy, but ultimately it was creating another that water body. During the monsoon, the stream would be a gushing torrent. Means it take a good quantity of water in monsoon, cascading down from the hills. But during the summer, it was barely a trickle. You can see the vocabulary here. Trickle means weak or thin flow of water. All the words you will mark and check the meanings of the words here. The rocks, however, held the water in the pool and it did not dry up like the pools in the plains. When Ranji saw the pool, he didn't hesitate to get into it. He had often gone swimming. He was fond of swimming. So might be that's why he liked that part of the that area. Alone or with friends, then he had lived with his parents in a thirsty town in the middle of Rajputana desert. Means this boy was new to the place where he had been or he belonged to Rajputana desert. There he had known only sticky, muddy pools where buffaloes bellowed and the women washed clothes. So in the chapter also, in the question also, you might be asked to describe the area or the place where this boy belonged. Right? So he had never seen a pool like this. This pool was really refreshing for him. So cool, so clean and cold and inviting. Mark the word inviting adjective here. It was inviting means he was attracted by the pool. He leapt into the water. His limbs were supple, free of any fat, and his dark body glistened in patches of sunlit water. Now here sunlit again word you can see, you have read in the poem, but that was sunlit, that starlit night. It is sunlit water, means the light of the sun was falling in the water or making it shine. The next day, he came again to quench his body in the cool waters of the forest. Quenches means quench, you know, quench the thirst, प्यास को बुझाना है ना. तो यहाँ पे it is the quench of his body. Means जब हमारी body भी पानी मांगती है. Means aspiring, है ना? Aspiring desperately, we can say. The next day, he came again to quench his body in the cool waters of the forest. Cool waters of the forest. He was there for almost an hour, sliding in and out of the limpid green water or lying stretched out on the smooth yellow rocks in the shade of the broad-leaved sal trees. So, beta, I won't ask you to go for in such details. It is a description of the scene and water there. Fine. The water is green because some kind of the shadows are falling in the water. So that's why he has used different colors for the water. Sunlit water, here he has used the green water, and a limpid green water. So it was while he lay thus that he noticed another boy standing at little distance away. When he enjoyed the swimming in the water and came out to take rest on the rocks, he saw another boy. Here the entry of the other boy is there. Another boy standing a little distance away, staring at him, staring with a regularly looking at someone, that is staring. Hostile manner, but the manner was, it was not friendly or interested kind of, है ना. जो लड़का उसकी तरफ देख रहा था, it was not a friendly kind of looking, rather it was hostile manner, it was unfriendly. The other boy was a little older than Ranchi, and the other boy was older than him, taller, thick set, with a broad nose and thick red lips. This is the description of the boy. He had only just noticed Ranji, and when Ranji didn't say anything, the other called out, "What are you doing here, Mr. Ranji?" who was prepared to be friendly. We should mark here that Ranji had been friendly from the beginning. You know that this chapter is about the fight, है ना? So you should mark here that this boy Ranji is younger than the other boy, and this Ranji, he was having a friendly attitude. Ranji, who was prepared to be friendly, was taken aback at the hostility of the other's tone. इसलिए कि tone जो थी वो hostile थी. "I am swimming," he replied. "Why don't you join me? I always swim alone," said the other. "This is my pool. I didn't invite you here." The stranger strode up to Ranji, who still sat on, on the rock, and planting his broad feet firmly on the sand. You can see the picture for the description also. Said, as though this would settle the matter once and for all. Still, Ranji tone, Ranji way of speaking, it was very friendly and cool. This as if it will settle down. "Don't you know I'm a warrior? I don't take replies from villagers like you." "So you like to fight with villagers," said Ranji. These words are spoken by the other person. Means some kind of egoistic, we can say. "Don't you know I am a warrior?" He called himself a warrior. Mark it with a circle it. You will be having questions regarding these. "So you like to fight with villagers," said Ranji. "Well, I'm not a villager. I am a fighter." Now, first one, the stranger is called himself a warrior, and Ranji called himself a fighter because the other person was provoking him to or for a fight. "I'm a warrior. I am a warrior. I'm a fighter." Means they were equal to each other. They had reached an impasse. One had said he was a warrior, other had proclaimed himself a fighter. There was little else that could be said. Means both were ready for the fight. No one was less than the other. "You understand that I am a warrior," said the stranger, feeling that perhaps the information had not penetrated Ranji's head. "I have heard you say it 3 times," Ranji replied. He was just getting fed up to heard this, why he was calling himself a fighter. Then why are you not running away? Means he was trying to make him scared because he was elder also. We know. I am waiting for you to run away. I will have to beat you, said the stranger, assuming a violent attitude, showing Ranji the palm of his hand. Means he tried to threaten Ranji. I am waiting to see you do it, said Ranji. But Ranji was not scared. He was very much ready for the whatever he has to face. You will see me do it, said the other boy. Ranji waited. The other boy made a strange hissing sound. They stared each other in the eye for almost a minute. Then the warriors clapped Ranji across the face with all the force he could muster. Means the fight started there. Ranji staggered, feeling quite dizzy. There were thick red finger marks on his cheek because he was good in height and all. He was elder than him, might be stronger than him, so he tried to hit him on the face. There you are, exclaimed his assailant. Will you be off now? For answer, Ranji swung his arm up, pushed a hard bony fist into the other's face. But Ranji responded. वो डरा नहीं उसने उसको response दिया. There you, and then they were at each other's throats, swaying on the rope, trembling on the sand, rolling over and over, their legs, arms locked in a desperate, violent struggle. कुश्ती मुश्ती, एक ऊपर एक नीचे. Means now they started fighting. Gasping and cursing, clawing and slapping, they rolled into the shallows of the pool. Even in the water, the fight continued. Now they were in the pool fighting, splattering and covered with mud. They groped for each other's head and throat. But after, now they are fighting, you can see in the pic also, 5 minutes of frenzied, unscientific struggle, neither boy had emerged victorious. Means none of them was victorious. Both of them were equivalent to each other in fight. Their bodies having their exhaustion, but ultimately they were tired. They stood back from each other, making tremendous efforts to speak. Now do you realize I'm a warrior? Gasped the stranger, the elder boy. Do you know I'm a fighter? Said Ranji with difficulty. They gave a moment's consideration to each other's answers, and in that moment of silence, there was only their heavy breathing and rapid beating of their heart. Means they were very close to each other, upon each other, so they were able to hear their heartbeats also. Then you will not leave the pool, I will not leave it. Then we shall have to continue the fight. All right, but neither boy moved, neither took the initiative. None of them was scared of the other, or they accept defeat. The warrior had an inspiration. We will continue the fight tomorrow. So he asked him to continue the fight tomorrow. Means somewhere some problem was there. Come here again tomorrow. We will continue the fight, and I will not show you mercy as I have done today. I will come tomorrow, said Ranji. I'll be ready for you. They turned from each other then and going to their respective rocks, put on their clothes and left the forest by different routes. Means they went to their way. They left the place. Next day, the two claimants means claimants for the fight, face each other across the pool. अगले दिन वो फिर मिलते हैं. They throw challenges and counter challenges each other. The best solution they realize lies in the fighting each other, but fighting together for something. Means now this fight it changed the path. Let's see what happens. When Ranji got home, he found it difficult to explain the cuts and bruises that showed on his face, leg, and arms, as he was new to a place. So he was just aware of that he might be inquired about these cuts and bruises are the marks on his faces. They were the same, they token of the fight, we can say. It was difficult to conceal the fact that he had been in an unusually violent fight, and his mother insisted on staying at home for the rest of the day. That evening, thou he slipped out of the house and went to the bazaar, where he found comfort and solace in a bottle of vividly colored lemonade and a banana leaf full of hot, sweet jalebis. Means he went out in the evening. He had just finished the lemonade when he saw his adversary. Adversary means the opponent. He saw that same boy coming down the road. His first impulse was to turn away and look elsewhere. First, he tried to avoid the glance of that boy. His first impulse was to turn away and look elsewhere. His second to throw the lemonade bottle at his enemy. Then he just tried to, means he felt agitated or he wanted to throw the bottle of lemonade on his that competitor. He second to throw the lemonade bottle at his enemy, but he did neither of him. He saw the opponent in the picture. You can also see the same. Two temptations, two views came to his mind. These things. Instead, he stood his ground and scowled at his passing adversary, and the warrior said nothing either, but scowled back with equal ferocity. Means they gave a just kind of the glance. They exchanged a glance, looked as scowled means looked angrily. They gave a glance at each other. They looked at each other full of anger. जैसे हम अपने challenger को बोलते देखते हैं ना, that way. The next day was as hot as previous one. Ranji felt weak and lazy, not at all eager for a fight. His body was stiff and sore after the previous day encounter. Ranji was also not feeling so good. So, but he could not refuse the challenge. Not to turn up at the pool would be an acknowledgement of the defeat. Mark the line, beta. He was not so ready for the fight, but even then he went to the place of that where they have got that fight. Because why? Because he did not want to acknowledge the defeat. वो हार नहीं मानने वाला था. वो हार को एक्सेप्ट ये नहीं शो करना चाहता था कि वो हार गया. From the way he felt just then, he knew he would be beaten in another fight. But he could not acquiesce in his own defeat. He must defy his enemy to the last and outwit him, for only then he could gain his respect. Means he loved his self-respect. That's why he went back to the place for the next round of the fight. If he surrendered now, he would be beaten for all time, but to fight and be beaten today left him free to fight and be beaten again. Means anyway, he wanted to face the challenge. As long as he fought, he had a right to the pool in the forest. So he went to the same place. He was half hoping that the warrior would have forgotten the challenge. Means somewhere some kind of, we can say he wished. But these hopes were dashed when he saw his opponent sitting stripped to the waist on a rock on the other side of the pool. He saw his opponent on the other side of the pool. Come over on this side and fight, he shouted, but Ranji was not going to submit to any conditions laid down by his opponent. Means वो challenging था, वो ये नहीं था कि वो सोच के आया था कि ये नहीं कि वो जो बोलेगा मैं करूँगा, है ना? But Ranji was not going to submit to any conditions laid down by his opponent. Come this side and fight, he shouted back, equal beggar. Means he was full of energy. Swim across and fight me here, called the other. Or perhaps you can swim the length of this pool. But Ranji could have swum the length of the pool a dozen times without tiring. And here he would show the warrior his superiority. So slipping out of vest, he dived straight into the water, cutting through it like a knife, surfaced with hardly a splash. The warrior mouth hung open in amazement. Mark this paragraph, Pita. Mark this paragraph attentively. The opponent, the other boy, asked him to come to him, but he was impressed. Read this part. I'll read this part again. That he dived straight. This Ranji, he dived straight into the water, cutting through it like a knife, and surfaced with hardly a splash. Means he was so efficient, so talented. He was a very good swimmer. You can dive, he explained. It is easy, said Ranji, treading water, waiting for a further challenge. Can you dive? No, said the other. I jumped straight in. But if you will tell me how, I will make a die. So the other boy, he just in a way, he didn't add please, है ना? He didn't request it, but he just asked him to help him to learn how to dive. It is easy, said Ranji. Stand on the rock, stretch your arm out, and allow your head to replace your feet. Means this boy, Ranji, he started to teach the other boy to guide the other boy how to dive. The warrior stood up, stiff and straight, stretched out his arms, threw himself into the water, and landed flat on his belly with a crash that sent the bird screaming out of the tree. Ranji dissolved into laughter, means that the other boy was not able to dive as skillfully as this Ranji did. Are you trying to empty the pool? He asked as the warrior came to the surface, spouting water like a small wheel. Wasn't it good? Asked the boy, evidently proud of his feat. Not very good, said Vanji. You should have more practice. See, I will do it again. And pulling himself up on a rock, he executed another perfect dive. The other boy waited for him to come up, but swimming underwater, Ranji circled him and came upon him from behind. Mean here in on this page, this boy he guided him regarding the dive. So you will read this part and mark all the questions of the comprehension check. First, I would like you to fill the Google form. Arvind sir, kindly share the Google form.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I have already.
Wasn't it good? Not very good, said Ranji. You should have more practice. See, I will do it again. And pulling himself up on a rock, he executed another perfect dive. The other boy waited for him to come up, but swimming underwater, Ranji circled him, came upon him from behind. How did you do that? Asked astonished youth. The other boy. Can't you swim underwater? No, but I will try. The warrior made a tremendous effort to plunge to the bottom of the pool. Indeed, he thought he had gone right down. Through his bottom, like a duck, remained above surface. Means he was very skillful to just swim under the water also. Ranji, however, did not discourage him. It was not bad, but you need a lot of practice. Will you teach me? If you like, I'll teach you. You must teach me. If you don't teach me, I will beat you. See, that attitude of the boy, he's impressed by his way of swimming, but his diving, but he's threatening in a funny way. You must teach me. If you don't teach me, I'll beat you. You come here every day and teach me? If you like, said Ranji, they had pulled themselves out of the water and were sitting side by side on a smooth gray rock. Okay, better you will read rest of the part of the this part is very good and somewhere in this chapter I would like to you to compare both of the characters. जब आप इसको फिर एक reading देंगे in other reading, you should be ready to write about or the difference comparison of the two boys. And some student he asked that can we add similarities? Yes, beta, we can add similarities also. But comparison is ultimately where they are different. ये नहीं कि आप सारी similarities लिख रहे हैं तो that will not be a comparison, है ना? If both are brave, we can write. If both are efficient to fight, then we can mention. Otherwise, they are not, है ना? In fight, they are not. They are having many dissimilarities. Okay, so you should be ready to write a comparison of Ranji and the other boy. Now, if you like, they had pulled themselves out of the water and were sitting side by side on a smooth grey rock. My name is Suraj, said the warrior. What is yours? It's Ranji. I am strong. I not, said Suraj, bending his arms so that a ball of muscles. डोले दिखाते हैं ना हम जब बाजू को fold करके. He is showing that part of his arms. That raised ball of muscle stood up, stretching the white of his flesh. Even comparison we can write about their skin tone also. Their color of the skin is also different. You are strong, said Ranji. You are a real pahalwan. So I would like you to be ready for the subjective assignment of the characters. And this we have added this year. I will avoid the other subjective questions, rather adding a long question for the comparison of these two boys. Okay? You will write subjective assignment, comparison of these two boys. One is Ranji and the other is Suraj. Unka skin tone, unka body build, everything we can mention. All the differences with. No doubt we can mention that both were brave and are ready to fight. This is the similarity, common feature in both of the boys. One day I'll be the world champion wrestler, said Suraj, clapping his thighs, which shook with the impact of his hand. He looked critically at Ranji's uh, thin body. You are quite strong yourself, he conceded, but you are too bony. I know you people don't eat enough. Here they talk about their meals. I drink 1 share of milk every day. We got our own cow. Now see the difference of their diet also. Be my friend. Now they become friend, and I will make you a pahalwan like me. He offered him that if he teach him how to dive, he would help him to take